right, welcome to X's and O's with LeRoy Butler, and we'll get right at it. This is a play from the Seattle-Dallas game, and one of the reasons we picked this one was because it kind of showed some of the complex formations that Darrell Bevell, the ex-Packers quarterbacks coach, former Vikings offensive coordinator with Brett Favre, some of the formations he uses, and this was a very unusual one. He basically ran three tight ends to the right side, one receiver over here. This is Marshawn Lynch, this is Russell Wilson. And the Cowboys are in their normal 4-3 defense. So why don't you take it from there and tell us what happened here?
If you're a safety coming out, I'll talk about the safeties first, it's a run formation. And plus, Marshawn Lynch has been running the ball very well against us. So you're thinking more run. If you're the quarterback, Russell Wilson, you got to think about where this safety is going to be in the spacing. That's very important. And the problem to this particular, what starts out, Spencer, the outside linebacker, he took what we call a jab step in the wrong direction. And now what happened was it was a play action. This tight end went here, and this guy came up here, and this guy went here. Now the problem was this safety, you're thinking, okay, I got to get the deepest of the deepest. But as you intelligently drew, that one step, Tom, will kill you.
Yeah.
That one step there opened up. So in other words, draw me an S on that right there. Now he's over here.
Right.
And if you're Russell, after the play action, there's your window right there, and they hit him for a touchdown there, over 25-yard touchdown, give or take. And here it's just you got one man-to-man backside. But that jab step, if you're going to make a jab step there, you have to jab this tight end and slow him down if it's a play action, if you're going to play run pass first.
You're talking about two guys taking wrong steps.
Right.
And that shows you how important just your footwork is in positioning. Yeah, this guy came forward like it was going to be a run and just overcommitted so badly that he ran up this way. Now also, this linebacker, you know, I think he was supposed to just drop in here, but he noticed this guy was trailing, and he's like, oh no, what am I supposed to do? And he winds up over here, he's not sure, and you know, the ball goes right there, he's wide open.
So if you're the Packers, and sometimes the Packers, when you play three tight ends, they bring in an extra linebacker, just three DBs. Number one, you got to keep somebody in the middle of the field because you can relate to that. But you got to play your run pass tendencies to make sure that they don't hit you on these type of plays, because you got a quarterback, as you alluded, it's a shorter quarterback. So they don't run a lot of drop back, but they will play action and make sure you have proper spacing. So if this is, you know, DJ Smith, who's been getting beat down the middle against Chicago, against tight ends, you can see Seattle isolating that tight end.
Stressing him because, yeah, exactly. That's another reason why we picked this play, is because DJ Smith, they're going to find a way to get him matched up one-on-one, and he has not been able to cover the tight end.
If you're Nick Perry or if you're Eric Walden, you got to jam these tight ends to slow him down so he can cover, and hopefully 52 can get a sack on this particular play. But I tell you this, Seattle's going to run the ball and they're going to play action, so the Packers got to make sure they're smart.
Right. Now, if you did bring, let's say you, this was Eric Walden, and you put him up here to jam this guy, because it's harder to jam a guy who's off the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely.
Right. So he jams him, but then that does isolate
that isolates him for real.
So there's a lot of issues you have to cover in a formation like this. And then the whole premise to this whole play is you're worried about this guy.
24,
You know,
if you're stopping Marshawn Lynch, this play's dead. But if he's getting 5-6 yards of carry, the play action is going to be wide open, because your linebackers immediately they're going to attack.
Right.
And once they step up, that tight end's already behind him.
Right. Just like
and just a simple throw. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Our next play, we will be looking at the Seahawks on defense and what the Packers might be able to do.
And the opportunities down the field.
All right, we're going to look at this play from the Dallas-Seattle game on Sunday, and this was where Tony Romo got one over on the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And I think this is somewhat representative of what you need to do against the Seahawks, who are a big defense, big physical defense. Their corners are 6'3", 6'4". Right. Their strong safeties 6'3" or 6'4". The only normal-sized guy is Earl Thomas over here, who's an excellent athlete. Yeah. So the Cowboys come out in a double tight end running formation on the left side. They have both wide receivers here. This is Miles Austin right here. I didn't put his number down there. And he runs a little curl, and this guy runs behind him, kind of occupying this safety. And then why don't you kind of show what happens and maybe go ahead.
The first thing Romo wanted to do is find out what a safety was. So you got a one high safety. So there are opportunities. So if Greg Jennings is playing in this game, he's going to have opportunities because you need quicker receivers, not so much long stride receivers like a Jordan Nelson. But what happened in this particular play, Tom, it was kind of it was almost like a double move, but it was what we call a X option, the X wide receiver. You get a chance to run anything intermediate that you want. But what happened, he came in, and this defensive back, cardinal rule, never do this. You look in the backfield, and as he looked back, he took out right here and hit him for a touchdown right here. And that's the one thing about these corners. They're big and they're aggressive, but they're always looking in the backfield. Double moves will be big for the Green Bay Packers. So you can see if you do want to get Jordan Nelson deep, stop and go, slant and goes, and things of that nature. But you can also see in this particular this play, look at the spacing here. So if you're Greg Jennings, right at 85 right that time, you got a lot of room to work with once this guy disappears. So whatever you want to do to these guys, he can go in and out. And we also call it an option. He can run just about whatever you want, and they can put up some big numbers on these guys. Or what you could do is move him in motion, and this guy follows him, and now you got Jordan Nelson or James Jones backside with a lot of area. Because they're going to crowd the line of scrimmage, especially with Cedric Benson running the ball so well.
Right. Now, you know, the trend right now has been for teams to, instead of safety being down here, they'll play here, and then they'll bring guys up and play man-to-man coverage. Now, with those big safeties, or big corners, is that going to hurt the Packers, or is their speed going to be able to get around those guys?
You got to have Jennings back this week. The speed should really help them. They want to play a two-shell, man underneath. You got to win your coverage. Now Randall Cobb should just eat these guys alive, especially on the perimeter. There's nobody that can cover him man-to-man. These linebackers are not quick enough. But what Seattle would probably try to do is what they did to Dallas. If you're in that 5-yard area, Tom, they're going to hit you. And they're going to hit you sometimes illegal, sometimes legal, but they're going to take their shots at you, and hopefully their pass rush can get to the quarterback. You know, with you having some problems at offensive line with the Green Bay Packers, but you got to win one-on-one matchups when you're trying to get the ball down the field. Because you're right, the trend is to play two safeties back. That's the formula to stop the Packers. But I'm going to tell you this. Aaron Rodgers said there's no secret to beating him. So, and he takes that personal. Don't be thinking you can just throw two safeties high man-to-man and can beat him. So he's going to get back into his rhythm Monday night.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that.
That's what we're hoping.
You know, the Seahawks like to bring their safeties up to play the run, but
they like to disguise a little bit.
The trend is for them is to really. The trend against the Packers is to put two guys back. So we'll see if they do that. But either way, it's going to be speed against brawn in this.
That's exactly right.
Matchup.
Yeah.
So.
Man, you're pretty good at that.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, smart guy.
I've been at it for a while. Well, thanks for joining us and X's and O's, and we'll be back after the Seattle game.
Monday night game.
And so we'll see you then.